Hey YouTube, this is Will. I'm here with Technomancers, a mentor for them, Team 1758 for First Robotics. I'm also here with,
Hello, I am Cameron Karsten, and I am a student within the robotics program.
and he's very interested in JavaScript right now, so I figured we'd cover a JavaScript tutorial. So where would you like to start, Cameron?
Um, I think a good starting point would be the basics of variables.
Variables. Okay, so let's see. We have different base types. Let's say we have integers, we have strings, and booleans and all that. But what's nice is about JavaScript, it is very dynamic. You don't have to specify what a variable type is. So for example, I can have a variable type A equal to hello, right? And then I can also set A equal to an integer right afterwards. And it's not going to fuss at me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print these out to document dot, let's just write line and A. So whenever I refresh this page, you should see that 1 right there. Let's go ahead and max. There we are. So now you see how it's set to 1, because even though I set it to a string and then right back to an integer, JavaScript doesn't care. It's not type safe. Makes coding really easy, but very prone to debugging, or not to debugging, but prone to bugs. So there's a lot of debugging stuff you have to start to learn throughout the way. I don't know exactly what you want to know about variables, Cameron. That's how you
Um,
set them.
what are a lot of the different ways that you can use variables within JavaScript?
All right. So a way that we can use variables is to we saved a variable here, and then we actually used it to write to the screen. That's declaring we initialized it, used it, and then changed it as well right here. So I can actually, to prove a point, we can A equals 1, and then document dot write line. We'll write A out again, right? And if I go ahead and reload this, you'll see it's hello and then 1, because even though we're using the same variable once, we just reset it to an integer, which seems kind of funky, and me personally, I don't like it. Something else it could be used for is function is a first class object in JavaScript. So I can have a named variable, let's call hello world. I mean, that's like what everyone uses, and we can name it a function. And this function, all it's going to do is write the line hello world. Now you'll notice this is a function, but I actually didn't call the function, so when I refresh the screen you don't see hello world. But if I, after calling it hello world, and I actually call the function, you'll realize, hey, there's a hello world right here. And that's just because I'm actually specifying to, I'm actually executing that function. Now I can call this multiple times, so I can call hello world again, right? It's a variable. I can call variables multiple times without changing it, and it would be that. But now I can set hello world to a number, or to hello world itself. And what's going to happen is now if I try to run hello world as a function, I'm going to get a JavaScript uncaught error down here. So that's what I mean by a little bit of bugs are prone, is if you start typing like this. I don't recommend keep type safety. Even if it's not hard-coded into JavaScript, it makes it easy for stuff to sneak in. So just be careful with it. Does that cover about what you were thinking about?
Yes. Right now.
All right. Any other
Um,
questions?
a lot of coding is if-else statements. How would you do that in JavaScript?
Okay. So let's see. We're gonna do an if-else statement. I'll just go ahead and clean some of this up. I want to stick with this function. I like working inside functions. So, but this function's going to take in a variable that we're gonna call show. This show is going to be a Boolean type. I'm going to keep that in my head, even though I can't type it here. I'm just going to keep that in my head. And then I'm going to say if show, well, I got to put it in parentheses. If show does not equal undefined and show is true. So making sure that we actually defined what shown is. If I print to the console what show is beforehand, so actually I'm going to do a console.log show to show you what the different values of show would be. There's an undefined, there's a null value, which means, hey, it was defined, there's just no value set to it. Then there is the actual value itself. So I'm making sure that it's not undefined, and if I want to show it, do this, and then you wanted to talk about an else statement as well, so we'll do a document.writeLine goodbye world. I don't know. No one ever does that one. It's kind of a dark one though. So I'm sorry, I'm one of these people that have to make sure tabbing's right and everything. So I have a variable that I'm passing into this function. Now it's going to print that out to this log feature over here. I'm going to clear that out. It's going to print it out to this console. That's what console.log does. And then I'm going to first do a Boolean check. I'm going to check to see, hey, have I actually defined what show was? If not, it's going to print this else statement. But if I have, and it is true, meaning, hey, this Boolean value we set as show is true, then it's going to print this. Now to go what show is equal to true in JavaScript, that's a whole different rabbit hole. You can set it to a string and it still returns true if you don't even set it to anything. So you get kind of iffy there. But what we can do is we can call hello world. This one should, by the way, 2 forward slashes is a comment. So this one should print goodbye world or Wallard, because I misspelled it in the function. This one right here should print, well, if I can type today, this one should print hello world, because 1, it is defined, and 2, it is set to true. Hello world also, we'll set this one to false. This one should do that, this one up here, because this is weird, right? But let's also go over and see what happens if I actually set it to a number. Like, for example, tell you the truth, some of these, the truthy and falsy values in JavaScript are a little confusing, even for me. So let's just see what happens if I type in hello here and pass in a 1758. Alright, so these two are kind of just like, let's see what happens when we pass in something that's not a Boolean value. But these are kind of defined as in what will happen. So let's see. Let's go ahead and, well, I don't need to do anything like that. So let's just refresh this page and see what happens. There we are. So you'll see that we have this undefined. That is because this first one passed through and we didn't define what show is. So this was skipped because if not undefined, if not undefined, yeah. If not undefined, and it is true. So it was undefined, so it passed through that and went through goodbye world, and you see that here. Well, Wallard. I don't know what Wallard is. Then we have a true value, right? That true value went through because 1, it was defined, set it to true, and show is true, so therefore it showed hello world. But then goodbye world also showed up because we set it to false. But now you notice we have 2 more hello worlds. Because all JavaScript cares about, right now what that and show is, doesn't mean and show equals true. It's just saying, hey, is there something inside of show? And there is. If I wanted to define it even more, I would say equal to true. Right? And then if I refresh the page, you'll see that now changed to goodbye world 2 times, because now I'm actually making sure that there is a true value there. It's actually true. This 3 is a little different than a double equals sign in most languages. Don't really have a good example for you what I mean by that. Just a good rule of thumb is to always use 3 equal signs in JavaScript. So, yeah. So I think that covers a little bit of the if-else. There's also an else-if statement, as in I could go deeper into it. So I could say else if show equals hello. Then I could say, this is just to finish this tag up. Document dot write line, if it will let me. Well, I can't type. How are you? There we are. There we are. There's your how are you. Because we put hello through here, so it went through that first one, recognized, hey, we can't go inside this one. Check the next one. Hey, that one's true, so let's go into that one. And then this is like the fall through for everything else. Make sure it catches everything else. So I think that covers most of it. Got anything else, Cameron?
If it's basic enough for the first JavaScript tutorial, how could you use, what are the multitudes of ways that you can use variables together?
Ooh, that one's gonna be an interesting one. So you're talking about like concatenating strings together, adding a integer to the end of a string, stuff like that?
Like creating variables that are quantities of two different variables and stuff like that.
Okay, so let's see, we're gonna do, let's clear this one. Alright, we're gonna delete that one. I'm gonna call this an add function because that's exactly what it's gonna do. A and B, and what it's going to do is document.write line A plus B. And actually, I'm not going to do document.writeLine. I'm going to do console.log, because then we get a little bit more information about A plus B, whether it's undefined or true or false and stuff like that. So, what this is doing is these are technically variables, but they're called parameters inside the function. So I could create a separate variable for it, but I'm doing is I'm just creating the variable when the function is called, making it a little easier for me to type out instead of having to do var a equals this, var b equals this, a plus b equals this. I'm just going to pass it into this add function, and then this add function is going to print it out to the console so we can get a better idea of what's actually being done. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a and b, or a equals 1, 17, right? That one should return as expected. There we are, 18, right? We can also add, let's see, hello, and add world to it, right? Now, even though we're adding, this is how we can concatenate a string together. So now there's a hello world right there, all in one string. Something else we can do, so we can add, I think we can add hello and add a number to it, and it will still treat it the same. It will just turn the 12 into a string, but I don't think it can go the other way around. So if we put 12 and hello, oh, apparently it works. So there we are, there's 12 there. So that's concatenating different things. Something we could do is we could say A equals 12. I think this is what we were getting on the lines of for Cameron. B equals 13. And var the sum equals A plus B, right? And then we also have the average equals the sum divided by 2, because you add them all up, divided by the total of number of variables. Since we only have 2 variables, there's the average. And we can do console.log A, B, sum, and average. And that should give us 12, 13, 25, and 12.5, because 12 and 13 were our A and B, and then our sum was 25, And then we also passed in the average, which is halfway between 13 or 12, which is 12.5. So, that's just quick and dirty variable manipulation between, hey, take in this and do something with it. Now, of course, a variable can be a function, like I said, so I can technically put in... can't print to screen now. You can't write document.writeLine. But since JavaScript is an object-oriented language, you'll notice that, hey, it recognized, hey, this is what the function is. A function, the function add is a, b, console.log, a plus b. And there it is. So, it's quite interesting how that JavaScript knows a little bit about it. Anything else, Cameron?
Nothing I could think of right now.
Alright. So that covered the very, very basics of JavaScript. If you guys want to see more, please like and subscribe down below. Comment below of any questions you may have on JavaScript. And I'm sure I'll probably be learning more about JavaScript along the way as well, because I was a little rough at JavaScript at first. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.